anyone who's doing cold email, or at least thinking about doing it, is probably aware that cold email has gone through a lot of changes in the past 6 to 8 months. The deliverability updates with Outlook and Gmail and new tools coming up and all these different things happening, cold email getting more popular. So if you're aware of these things, you are probably asking the question, is cold email worth it anymore? I've seen countless of people who were previously making a lot of money from cold email stop doing it completely because they couldn't get results anymore. And I've seen also people who have thought about doing cold email not do it at all and do something else. Once again, because they're afraid that they're going to invest all this time and effort into a channel that doesn't work. So in this video, I'm going to answer the question, is cold email still worth it in 2025? Over the past 5 years, I've been doing cold email for 5 years really actively. We've sent tens of millions of emails, generated tens of millions of dollars through cold email. And yeah, just scaled a bunch of companies, a bunch of agencies through it. So I would say that I have a pretty good feel to if cold email is good still, because we're still doing it, So to just hop in here, before I go into why I think cold email is still worth it, I just want to show you a few examples. People are skeptical, which is completely fine, and you should be. But I just went into our Slack. We run a consulting company called Agent Velocity where we help growth marketing agencies scale. And I just went into our Slack and I scrolled for the past 2 weeks, 3-4 weeks. And I just took a few screenshots which were specifically about cold email. So here's, for example, Teemu and Elmer. They started from complete scratch pretty much. They were doing $500 a month. They were doing cold email Q4 of 2024. And in a few weeks, they went from 0 to 15,000 euros in monthly recurring revenue. 6 clients, cold email and some cold calls as well. Boom. 2024 Q4, Or Nicholas, as you can see once again, this screenshot is taken on 3rd of January 2025. 20% reply rate on one of his campaigns, 42 replies, 9 positive responses. And yeah, you can't see this because obviously you shouldn't be tracking them nowadays. But yeah, it's really easy for people to pull up old screenshots of campaigns, but you can't see this shit 2025. Or Wyatt, once again, this screenshot is 2 weeks old or 1 week old. 34 leads in 5 days for one client, from 518 contacts, 47 unique replies, 34 leads, positive replies, which is pretty good, If you can get the 5 days, you can get 34 positive leads, that's fire. Or Wesley, wait, I'm messing up here on the whiteboard. Wesley, they have already booked, this was sent a few days ago, on 14th, it's 19th right now. And they had already booked 59 calls this month, January, 2025. And they closed 7 new clients in 1 week and added $17,000 in MRR, plus rev share, plus PPC. Hit 30,000 a month. Super sick. Projected to hit our first 50K a month by the end of January. Once again, 2025 stuff. Or Hjalte, a few days ago, finally cracked outbound for a client after 3 months, 8 meetings booked in a week, 2,500 euros in performance. So he runs a lead generation agency, so he gets paid for these calls, So main reason why I wanted to just show this is this is pretty damn obvious proof that cold email still works really well. I know there's always bunch of any single time there's any updates to anything deliverability algorithms or anything, people get crazy on YouTube. Cold email is dead, this is saturated, blah, blah, blah. And some people believe it 100%, it's that happens. But I just wanted to first, before we go into anything, just show a few pictures of proof to make sure that you know that it actually works. So the main thing to understand about cold email in 2025 is that it is for sure different. If you look at 2021, or I'm just actually gonna use the text tool. If you look at 2021, when I started, people of course have been doing cold email way before that. And we look at 2025, this timeline is pretty long. It's 5 years. And some of you might have started 2023, 2024, 2022. Some of you might have not even started at all. But a lot of stuff has happened going from 2020 to 2025. Back in 2020, 5 years ago, cold email was still pretty new. It was people weren't really using it, at least in the way that we use it nowadays. Obviously, people were sending cold emails since email has existed, but like in a way that you're sending a lot of emails in an automated way through email sending tools. Back in the day, we were using Mailshake, you know? And in 2021, it was like the barrier to entry was pretty high, you know? It's like, I'll make this smaller a little bit. And also, if you're wondering why my mouse is jittering so much, I got a new mouse and it's some like Giga gaming mouse and it's hyper accurate. And there's like crazy, I don't know what the settings, but yeah, it's like really sensitive. But like high barrier to entry, which pretty much meant no competition, which meant amazing results, easy. You know, it was like really easy to get like really good results back in 2020, because there was really no one doing it. Because there was a high barrier to entry, expensive. You know, like back in 2020, we were using Mailshake, for example. Mailshake was like $47 or $49 per account. So if you wanted to have 10 email accounts, like that was $500 a month alone, you know, just to send the emails from a sending tool. Nowadays it's like 10 times cheaper, which is crazy. More than 10 times cheaper. So it was like super expensive. It's like no information. It's like there was really no information about how to scrape leads the best way, how to do personalization, how to even set this whole thing up, how to write good cold emails. And there was like no tech or like less tech. So pretty much what I mean with this is like 2020, 2021, if you wanted to send personalized first emails with your cold email campaigns, like some of the OGs will remember this, but we used to go on Fiverr and we would hire like a VA and they would manually go and write a first line for every single lead. And we would pay like 80 cents to $1 per first line. So if you wanted to send like a personalized line to 1,000 leads, that would be like $800 to $1,000. Plus you would have like the sending tools that were like really expensive. It's like $2,000 to run a campaign to 1,000 leads. So, you know, it's like people weren't doing it. There was no good tools. Everything was really manual. So I had to do a lot of stuff manually. There was no real information online on how to do it. And it was really expensive. But of course, this means that there's just like less people doing it. Results are better. People respond to cold emails way more, which is great. But now if you look at 2025, I think it's like really important to understand where this comes from. It's like low barrier to entry. And like looking at like 2024, like a year ago, like the barrier to entry was like even lower. Now with all the deliverability updates, etc., it's once again getting a bit harder, which is super good. Like the harder cold email is, the better it is, because the people who actually stick to it and figure it out will make more money. There's like a low barrier to entry. It's like super cheap. There's like amazing tools. Like everything can be automated. There's like a lot of information. So it's like way harder. It's easier to do, but it's like way harder to get results. You know, it's like a bit of a conundrum. You know, it's like really easy to do cold email. It's like way harder to get good results. And this is resulting to a lot of people saying that, hey, cold email is saturated. You can't do it anymore. Cold email is ruined, blah, 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 blah. And they stop doing it altogether. But once again, if you look at cold email is just like a traffic source. You know, if you look at any survey ever done about like where people like to be contacted about new products or services, like the number one thing always where people want to hear about this stuff is email. People don't like getting cold called. It interrupts their day. People don't want their door to be knocked. Once again, interrupts their day. People don't want to see ads. Like fucking for some reason people hate ads. They want to see that stuff on cold email or like on the email inbox. It's like a really big business channel. Like that's where people do business, you know? So cold email is still an amazing channel, but it's different. You can't do the stuff that you were doing a year ago and still expect the same results. So what I want to do is I want to go over the 3 main steps on how to actually do it well and how we are seeing these kind of results, like how we are getting these results. So number 1, just getting straight into it, I'm not going to be yapping too much, is infrastructure. You know, a lot of people, the reason why they are suffering or why they are not experiencing really good results with cold email nowadays is because they can't land in the primary inbox. You know, they are landing in spam. They're not getting good deliverability rates. Which is once again, I think personally that's like really good stuff, because the harder it is to get into the primary inbox and have good deliverability, it's like the better. It's like more people are, like less people are going to be doing it, the more money you're going to be making. So like few main things. You can't just anymore go on Google Workspace and just buy like fucking 50 accounts and just rip it. You know, it just doesn't work anymore. So few things that I really would keep in mind here is, why is this bolded? Why is this bolded? Less volume and more accounts. This is really big. You know, like previously you could get 10 accounts, send 50 emails per account, and you would be sending 500 emails a day. I wouldn't do that anymore. I would rather flip it completely around. I would get 40 accounts and send 10 emails per day. There's a little bit of still questions. We are still testing like what are the best sending limits, but I wouldn't be sending like 50 emails a day anymore. You know, I would rather send like 10, 15. Like last year at one point when like the Outlook stuff was really bad, we were sending like 1 email a day per account. I mean, just had like 300 accounts. It still worked really well. Once again, people were not really doing it. But yeah, it's like just less volume per account and just get more accounts. Like super simple. One thing that we've also seen is age domains. You know, a lot of people when they do cold email, of course, you go and buy a bunch of new domains. But what we have seen is there's a massive improvement in deliverability the older the account is. Like if the cold email account that you're sending or the cold email inbox that you're sending from is like over 6 months old, you're gonna get way better deliverability. But of course, if you don't have aged accounts right now, you're thinking, fuck, I'm just really fucked. No, you're not. You can still get by really well with new accounts. But what I would do with this information is I would go and I would buy like bunch of accounts. You know, I would go and invest into a lot of accounts and just let them sit in a warm-up pool, or just let them sit there. You don't even have to put in a warm-up pool. Just let them sit there and just let them age. You know, you're like investing into the future. You're letting them marinate there. Like in some, like pork bun, like sometimes pork bun has like amazing deals when you can get like .co domains for like $1. When that comes up, like you have to just check it once in a while. Monthly deals, come here. Check it. Sometimes they have those domains. Don't get any other ones. Get like .co or .com. But once you see that deal, just go and buy like 200. Go buy like 200 accounts and just let them sit there. In 6 months, you're going to be so happy that you did that. Heavy spin tax. So if you don't know what spin tax is, go Google it. I'm not going to explain spin tax in this video. But heavy spin tax is like absolutely necessary. If you're running big volume, high volume campaigns, you have to be doing spin tax, because what pretty much spin tax does, it makes every single email that you send out completely unique. So it doesn't get flagged in the cold email or like Google or Outlook algorithms. So go heavy on spin tax, absolutely necessary. And last thing is diversify your infra. So right now, like once again, it's like last year or a year before that, you were just able to like go on one place, go on GoDaddy or go on Google, whatever, and buy just like few hundred accounts and just do that. But nowadays when stuff is changing up, there's like infrastructure matching is like way more important, and there's like a lot of updates. What we have been doing is just diversifying our infra. Like every single time when we are doing a setup, we are buying the domains from like 3 or 4 different sources. If we want 200 domains, we buy 50 from each. You know, we buy some, I'm not gonna name drop too many of them because they're not paying me. But we buy from like different resellers, places like Hypertide, places like Premium Inboxes. F60 domains have been like pretty good, like the aged ones. And just go like Google Workspace, GoDaddy, and we just diversify it as much as we possibly can. Because that way, if one platform or like one reseller, like if their domains are performing worse, we don't lose the whole campaign. We still have like 75% of our domains still running completely fine. So diversify your infrastructure. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the infrastructure stuff because it's like at the end of the day, it's like pretty simple. People are overcomplicating it so much. I see that all the time, like crazy stuff. But for you to get good deliverability, of course, follow the best practices. Don't send links, don't send pictures, verify all your emails, warm your emails up, set up DMARC, set up DKIM, set up SPF, set up all of these things. And on top of that, just get more accounts and send less volume. Try to have H domains or invest into the H domains in the future. Use heavy spin tax and diversify your infrastructure. Just follow that and you're going to be getting better deliverability than 90% of the people doing cold email, you know? Then the second thing, this is massive. This is really, really big. What is it? Why I can't do, I'll just do this. Clay, you know? If you have been doing cold email or if you have been looking at like what's happening in the cold email space, you probably have seen Clay mentioned like a bunch of times. And Clay is fucking awesome. It's an amazing tool. Once again, Clay is not paying me. We are a Clay enterprise partner. I think it's like maybe 20 enterprise partners. We are one of 20 enterprise partners in the world for Clay. but they're not paying me to promote this. So I'm not doing this just to hype them up. But Clay is great. If you don't know what Clay is pretty much a data management platform where you're able to do different workflows and different tables, use AI agents, etc. You can just go check it out, clay.com. And the great thing once again about Clay, it's like you can do like so much stuff with it. And the great thing about it is there's a big learning curve. And it's not super cheap, you know? There's still an amazing ROI to it, but it's not completely free. I think our account is like $850 a month. So not everyone has access to it, which once again, if you go back to the example here, like why stuff was like really good a few years ago, or like really easy a few years ago, it's like a high barrier to entry. So the more expensive these tools become and the harder they become to use, the better it is going to be for anyone using cold email. Because yeah, you have to tug it out and pay a bit more and figure out how to use these things. But once you do, you're like golden. It's like really hard for anyone to do anything. So pretty much what Clay lets you do, like the best way to explain this is if you go 2-3 years back, you could have like a bunch of really good ideas about cold email. And, I wish I could do this campaign. I wish I could do this campaign. I wish I could do this personalization. And the reason why I couldn't do it is because there was no tech to make it happen. You know, there was no tools that would let you do all these crazy campaigns. But nowadays, completely the opposite way around. Like Clay pretty much lets you do any campaign that you ever want to do, any kind of personalization, any scraping. But now the creativity is the bottleneck, you know. So like a great example of a Clay campaign that we ran last year is like one client or one company who was selling solar panels for like companies and on their headquarters, like for their like offices in the US. So what we did is we set up like a Clay workflow that every single time when an area, so let's say we have the map of US here. So I'm gonna draw like a terrible map of US. This is US here. So let's say an area of US. So let's say here, the UV index would pass a certain benchmark. So I can't remember the exact benchmark, but the UV index would go above a specific number. Our workflow would automatically trigger and it would scrape all of the leads or all of the companies that have a headquarters in this area. And it would automatically calculate the like size of their headquarters, you know, like how big their roof is, and also the price of electricity in that area. And combine all this data point and send them a personalized email saying, hey John, I don't know if you noticed, but the UV index passed this number for the last week. If you had solar panels on your roof of your headquarters, this is how much money you could have made. Based on the size of your headquarters, we think you could have this many panels, and this is the return you would have gotten on it. It's like super personalized. Like how the fuck do you automate that shit? It's like it looks like completely manually sent email. You know, there's like a bunch of other crazy examples like that. It's like also for lead scraping, like you can scrape like some extremely crazy specific leads. You know, like you can set up automatic workflows where like every single time, let's say VC invests into a specific type of startup company, it automatically triggers the workflow and you send an automatic super personalized email saying, hey, I saw that John Smith just invested 1.2 million into a seed round to help you with this thing. We could help you out with that. And boom, like you're like the first to reach out to those people in a super personalized way. So I'm not gonna go through like all the Clay use cases, but Clay is great. You can do pretty much anything with Clay when it comes to cold email. So if you wanna crush it in 2025, I highly recommend you to use Clay. You know, like Clay University is really good. They have like their free universities you can use and learn. And of course you can join Agent Velocity and we'll help you use Clay there. But yeah, it pretty much lets you do anything. And one thing to keep in really mind here is creativity wins. Like the people who right now are getting the best results on cold email are not the best like deliverability guys or the best lead scrapers. It's the people who are like most creative, who can come up with the craziest angles, who have the best ideas. So you just have to get really creative when it comes to cold email in 2025. And number 3 thing, which is like extremely important, once again, it's like maximizing, or like I would say min-maxing. So this is like an extremely good point, like really good example comes from other marketing channels. So once again, like you can look at all these other like lead generation and marketing channel tools, and you can see like the trends there. Like if you look at Facebook ads, like 10, 8, 7 years ago, you could pretty much like go on Facebook Business Manager and just like set up a random ad campaign, just like put in some filters there and just like write some mid-ad copy. And because ads were so cheap and people weren't as good as doing ads, you could always run like a profitable campaign, you know? You could always make it work. But nowadays, if you try to do the same, like 2025, like everyone's doing ads. Ad costs are fucking through the roof. And there's like some amazing marketers doing like ads right now. It's like you can't just get away with like shitty campaigns. You can't. You could like 7 years ago. You can't do that anymore. So what people right now are forced to do who run ads is they have to absolutely min-max the fuck out of their funnel. They have to have like the best conversion rate. They have to have the best like nurturing mechanisms. They have to have like amazing retargeting, really good show up rates. They have to have appointment setters. They have to have like year-long LTVs planned out to make these campaigns profitable. They have to lose money up front. They have to have like perfect tracking, like expensive tools for tracking, like pixels, train the pixels, like all these things. They have to do like so much to min-max all the different metrics of ads or like of their whole funnel to make it profitable, you know, because otherwise they just can't make it work. It's not going to be profitable. And the people who manage to do that well and who know how to do it, they're like absolutely fucking printing, like making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a day. You know, it's like I have some like friends who run agencies and they just do like ads. Ads is like the only client acquisition mechanism that they use. And they're making like hundreds of thousands a month, like getting like 5x ROAS on their campaign because they're just like min-maxing the hell out of their funnel. So now as cold email is getting more sophisticated and more people are using it and the economics of cold email are changing, we also have to start doing these things in cold email, you know? So what does this mean? We have to pretty much squeeze out, like once we get a lead, we have to squeeze out the highest possible return from every single lead. Of course, we don't have to go as far as people go with ads right now, but it's still a good practice to be in. So like really good things to do. For example, maximizing conversion rates. Amazing way to do it is warm calls. Like this is one of the easiest ways to 2x the performance of your campaigns. And when I say 2x, it's like it might seem like I'm over exaggerating, but I'm not. This is actually true. So let's say you send an email out to John Smith or like a list of 1,000 people. Once someone replies to that email and says, yes, this is pretty interesting, instead of just writing them back an email, call them. Say, hey, John, I saw that you just replied to my email about the lead generation stuff that I was talking about. Before I send you more information over email, I would just love to hear about your current situation so I can provide you more important information. Does it make sense? I'll just take a minute. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Amazing. What are you using right now to generate leads? Oh, we're doing this. Okay, how many leads do you want to generate? Where do you want to scale? What are your goals? What are your pains? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Hey, by the way, just based on that, like I don't really think that there's any need to send out stuff on cold email. I can just show you how everything works. Do you have time for a quick call next Tuesday at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Oh, sure, let's do 2 p.m. And boom, you're like getting double, triple the CVR or conversion rate that you would get otherwise if you just used email. So warm calls are fucking amazing. Second thing, omnichannel. So if you have a lead list of like 1,000 people, instead of just hitting them up on cold email, hit them up on LinkedIn, hit them up on Facebook, hit them up on Twitter, call them, hit up their colleagues, hit up their front desk, you know, send them a physical gift in the mail if the LTV is high enough, you know. Omnichannel, once again, you're just trying to squeeze out as much as you possibly can from the campaigns. Inbox management, this is like an amazing way to optimize the performance of your campaigns. Like if you look at a normal cold email campaign and you're getting like a 5% reply rate. So let's say you send out 1,000 emails and that gives you 50 replies. If you do like bad inbox management or like not super good inbox management, you're replying like in 3, 4, 5 hours to these emails, you're probably gonna book out of those 50, maybe 5 sales meetings. You know, you're booking 5 calls, maybe even less. But then if you squeeze that and if you take your response time from 5 hours to 5 minutes, you're gonna once again like double your booking rate from those positive responses. So instead of booking like 5 calls, you're gonna be booking 10, 15 calls, you know, a campaign. And once again, you don't have to change the infrastructure at all. You don't have to change the lead list at all. You don't have to change the copy at all. You don't have to get any more tools. You just have the response or like reply faster, you know, like super easy. Downsell offers, once again, if you want to like maximize the profitability of our campaigns, like let's say normally we are getting, let's say you're sending 1,000 emails, boom, 1,000 emails. And from these 1,000 emails, you are getting 10 sales meetings. And from these 10 sales meetings, you're closing 2 clients. Boom, 2 clients. And let's say one client, this is so terrible, why am I writing with the pen? 2 clients. Let's say these 2 clients are worth $10,000 each, so you make 20K from this campaign. But there were still like 8 clients that you didn't close. 8 people didn't get closed. And a lot of these people didn't buy because they didn't have the money, they didn't have the budget. So what you can do is you can introduce a downsell offer where pretty much instead of doing everything for them, you just show them the information or you do it with them, and it's like 3 times cheaper. So let's say instead of 10K, it's like 3K. And you sell, once again, to these, like 2 of these people buy that stuff. So instead of closing 2 clients, you actually close 4 clients because you have this new downsell offer for the people who have less budget. Which means that you would get an extra 6K from here, which would mean, once again, that you would increase the revenue of that campaign from 20K to 26K. So then you're once again squeezing out more money from the campaigns that you are running because you have this downsell offer. Boom. Digital footprint, massive digital footprint, and like your funnel. Like a lot of people are running cold email campaigns and they have terrible digital footprint. They have a bad website. They have no good like LinkedIn profile. They are not active on LinkedIn. They are not making any YouTube videos. Once again, if you make a few YouTube videos, you optimize your LinkedIn profile, you post a little bit of LinkedIn, you make a prettier like funnel and prettier landing page. Like you are gonna, once again, without touching the campaigns, you're gonna increase your conversion rates. You're gonna increase the performance of your campaigns. It's like fucking no-brainer. It's like, why wouldn't you do that? And it's like extremely high leverage because you do it once and it's gonna be there forever. Funnel metrics or like sales process metrics. Show up rates. Closing rates. Blah, blah, blah rates, whatever rates. Once again, if you wanna like squeeze out as much money as we can from the campaigns, like we have to have better show up rates, we have to have better closing rates, we have to have better booking rates. Like a great example of this is like, let's say that you would normally have a campaign, and in this campaign you send an email to 1,000 people, and out of these 1,000 people, what is this? Out of these 1,000 people, you book in 5 calls. Damn, I'm messing up here. You get 50 responses, and out of these, you book 5 calls, and from these 5 calls, 4 show up, and you have a 20% closing rate. You close 1 client, and this 1 client makes you $10,000. 10K. Boom. This would mean, and I'm just gonna put the arrows in here so you're clear. But this would pretty much mean that 1,000 prospects campaign would make you $10,000. It's like, that's fine. But then if you look at all of the optimizations that you can make, like let's say you're sending out to the same amount of people and you're not even changing your campaigns. Like if you use Clay, you're gonna get more positive responses. If you have a better, better digital footprint, let's say instead of 50, you get 75 replies because you are using Clay, you're doing better campaigns, you have better looking funnel, you have better digital footprint, etc. And then let's say you respond faster, so instead of 5, you're getting 20 people to book a call. It's like, that's already a massive improvement. And then from these 20 people, this is messed up, man. From these 20 people, let's say that you get 17 to show up, and you have better closing rate. Let's say you have a 30% closing rate, you're signing like 5 clients. And then let's say you add in a downsell offer that you sell for a little bit cheaper, you're closing 8 clients. It's like fucking massive. And then let's say instead of like 10K for 1 client, you're on average getting like 11K because you have the downsell offer there. So then that's like fucking 8 times 11,000, like 88K. Is that correct? I don't know. I'm not gonna fucking try to do math here. But like, once again, of course, this is like a massive, like this means that you like do everything really well. And this is of course like a massive improvement. So like 8x in the campaigns, probably won't do it in a month. But do you see like how powerful that is? Like you're not sending any more emails. You're not changing massive things in the copy. You're just using Clay. You're doing better personalization. You have a digital footprint. More people trust you. More people book a call. You're replying faster. So you're getting more people to book a call. You get more people to show up, you have better pre-call automations, you have better pre-call VSL, you have better frame, you have a better sales process, better offers, better sales tech, everything is better, you close at a higher rate, and then you add in a downsell offer, so you close more clients, like massive difference. Like this is what you have to be doing in 2025 if you want to succeed in cold email. You have to be absolutely min-maxing the fuck out of every single campaign. Like once again, 3 years ago, you could just like blast 10,000 emails, close a few clients, blah, 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 blah. You didn't have to care. But now as competition is getting more fierce, people are competing more, it's getting less expensive to do it, easier to do it. This is what you have to do to get these kind of results, you know? If you want to be closing 7 new clients in a week and adding 17K MRR, that's what you have to do. You know, if you want to be like going from 0 to 15,000 MRR in 2 weeks, like this is what you have to fucking do. You know, this is the game. So no, cold email is not dead. This is how you win. Don't overcomplicate it. Just fucking do better campaigns and better marketing and just be a better entrepreneur and you'll crush it. Don't worry about any of that other stuff. Of course, if you are a growth marketing agency and you want to add $10,000 a month or $10,000 in extra monthly recurring revenue, go also check out Agent Velocity, the link in bio. We do that. We help you add 10K MRR in 16 weeks or you don't pay. So go check that out, go apply, do whatever. And thank you for watching. Bye.